and welcome to the Unwine. On the Unwine, we go over the stories of immigrants, we go over the good, the bad, the ugly, and it is a situation where we don't want to give you all just the good side. We want to give you all the real side. We want to talk about the real deal. We want to talk about the juice, the gems. We want to give you all the real idea of what it's like to be a newcomer in Canada. My name is Kelly Williams. I'm the founder of Opera, founder and CEO. And at Opera, we are the immigrant app where persons can settle in a community to settle safer and faster. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that I'm sure is to the top of your minds. Should I be buying a home in Canada? Right? We have many persons who use Opera for landing, settling, finding homes, finding apartments, career coaching, finding jobs, you name it. Language tutoring, and settling within their community, and they all have the same question. Today, we'll be inviting our housing specialist, Sam, and he's going to be coming to share his perspective on should we be thinking about home ownership as newcomers to Canada. Hi, Sam.
Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for having me, Khalees.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Every day on the right side of the snow in Edmonton is a good day.
Awesome. So I know that you're actually on your way right now to show a home to a client of yours.
I
So
am, yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to be on my phone in my car. Hopefully, you guys don't mind. It's a crazy Edmonton area market. We're seeing houses sell in some cases less than 24 hours. Last thing I just sold in Millwood got 7 offers. It was
wow,
listed for 339 and it's pending for 386.
wow. 339. So okay, we already
And
getting some
that's what
gems. You're already seeing that it's possible to get a home in Edmonton for like three something.
it's pretty hard to get anything really decent detached. You can get some really nice townhomes, residential attached
Mm-hmm.
row homes, kind of in that, you're probably starting in the low 200s, like 210, 220 for something that's a little bit older that has stall parking.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get up into the 250s, 260s. You might start to see small garages as soon as you hit that 250 to 300. But again, that'll be a townhome
Mm-hmm.
with a condo fee. If you don't want to pay a condo fee, it's pretty hard to find anything decent now under about 325 in the greater Edmonton area. And that's including
Yeah.
small towns within 30 to 45 minutes of our city, because we have a lot of people here in the Edmonton area that commute from little communities like Bourneville, Bonnecourt, Gibbons, Leduc. I'm heading up to a little town called Spruce Grove today. It's a really nice little bedroom community about 20 minutes west of the city. So you'll find that the
Mhm.
prices in those areas can tend to be a little bit lower than in the city. Yeah, if you want a decent duplex or a detached home with a nice yard and a garage, in order to get something decent, you're probably going to be starting as high as 380.
Gotcha. So, Sam, the question that we all have is should we even be thinking about buying homes? And I don't want you to answer me as a real estate agent. I want you to answer me as someone who understands home ownership, right? So, Sam, you were born and raised in Canada. So, you're Canadian by birth,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And you've watched this
absolutely.
housing market go up and down. You live in Edmonton. You're a homeowner in Edmonton. I went to Sam's home and met his wife and his beautiful dog, right? He's a homeowner, true and bred. You've seen the
Yeah.
housing market. You're knowing about the housing crisis. With everything, it's causing a lot of anxiety for persons. What is your honest opinion about should persons be looking to really invest now in this current economy?
So let's look at this from a dad perspective. I have two boys in their mid to late 20s. As a dad, I wanted to make sure that my own sons owned property and weren't renting. So if I decided as a father that it was absolutely in my kids' best interests to get them into a home with a
Mm-hmm.
mortgage rather than paying rent, why would I not feel the same for my clients?
Mm,
So
gotcha.
yes, absolutely. Get into the market, start paying down your mortgage. When I bought my first home back in 2003 in Edmonton, I got a really nice 3-bedroom bungalow with a fully finished basement with 2 more bedrooms, double garage for 145,000. When I sold my house from 2003 to 2009, when I sold my house in 2008, I sold it for 275. So in
Mm,
5 years, I saw what kind of return. Now, Then I bought a home in Sherwood Park. I paid $325, lived there for 12 years, turned around and sold it for $425.
Mm.
And now the home that I live in now, we sold our home in Sherwood Park, moved into central Edmonton in a brand new geothermal community, and I
Mm-hmm.
bought my home for $525. The city just assessed me today, since 2000, from $525 up to $750,000.
Mm.
So if you're looking to build equity and a nest egg, the best possible way to do that in Alberta, especially because of our low taxes, is to buy a home.
Mm. Strange that you say that in Alberta in particular, because I remember, I don't know if you remember this, Sam, you were taking me around to look at homes with a newcomer that just came. And we went to a home that you had sold this home to some clients. They were from Nigeria. They're Nigerians. You remember this?
Yeah,
And they were moving
yeah,
and they were telling us about how the price that they paid for the home, they already got equity back now that they're moving. I think they were moving to Sherwood Park or something like that, right? And they were so
yeah.
excited, so happy to
He's
move.
yeah yeah. They're building a new home north of Sherwood Park. I helped them sell their house, and they had they also bought it as an investment that I helped them sell. He has
Mhm.
since referred me 2 more listings and 3 more buyers that I've now been working with. I've been working with a ton in the Nigerian community. They're just such good, honest, hardworking people with great credit. They care about family, they care about community, and that's what we really want here in Edmonton. Is people that want to honor their culture, because we love culture and food. We love diversity, but we also love when people appreciate our value.
Mhm.
Family, community, tying into making sure to support people that are less than us. So working with a
Mhm.
lot of people in the Eritrean community, from the Nigerian community, a lot of the South Asian community, Filipino, they're all very similar. It's really nice having such diversity coming to Edmonton, which is,
Mhm.
why we're so excited to see all that. And I mean, I think everyone should be a homeowner in Alberta. I mean, that's the dream. You move to
Mhm.
Canada, or you're born and raised in Canada, and you get your own home that you own yourself, and you don't have to worry about a landlord. So
Hmm. So you said something really interesting. A couple of things actually. Like you were talking about Canadian values, like giving back to persons who have less than you. I think that's really crucial. Like volunteering, giving back, being charitable, community. I think those are really strong Albertan Canadian values. And a lot of
absolutely,
immigrant communities have that within them. Right. So like
yes,
really like merging those two cultures together is crucial. But you mentioned something that was interesting. They have good credits. So I think
yes,
this is actually the point that I wanted to really bring up. It's amazing that you stumble across it. Most newcomers, they have this window of time as a newcomer where you really have a clean slate. Like you haven't messed up your credit is good, you get your first job, you start making those payments on your credit card, you make sure you're paying them off. Your credit is like pristine. It's like creme a la creme time to purchase a home. I've spoken to many persons who, after like 20 years in Canada, they're like, it's so hard to buy a home compared to someone who lands today who's coming with their nest egg from back in their home country, who's prepared to buy. And there are many of those types of people as well. So,
yeah.
what would you say to someone who doesn't think that they probably can qualify because they're new, but they do have good credit also because they're new?
So if you want to learn to build credit the North American way and have the banks and lenders really respond positively, there is one gentleman I would recommend everyone follow his strategies. His name is Dave Ramsey, and he
Yeah.
has his top 6 points to follow to help build positive credit and stay out of debt and make sure to stay on the right, stay ahead of the ball when it comes to moving to Canada and becoming a Canadian. So
Mm-hmm.
one of the strategies he talks about is snowballing debt. If you end up with a couple of credit cards that are carrying some debt, if you do end up behind the 8 ball a little bit, make most of your payment to the smallest, highest interest first. Once it's paid off, you take that same payment and you roll it into the existing payment on the next one. And then what
Mm-hmm.
you want to do is that little credit card you paid off, try and keep a positive balance in it. So don't just use it and then pay it off. If you know you're spending $100 in gas or $200 in groceries, put it into the credit card like a checking account.
Right. Somebody in
It's a
Instagram is saying David Ramsey is the guy. Start snowballing indeed. Yeah, yeah.
yes,
I follow
and
him.
follow
Yeah.
his other strategies. So look up Dave Ramsey. Back in 2014, I had a son that almost passed away. I was in the hospital all the time, and I ended up in a lot of debt. And I actually followed his strategies, and from 2014 to 2021, paid off over $300,000 of debt. And by
Wow.
2021, when I helped my son buy his home, my middle son, I had a perfect, what they call a 900 credit score. Because in Canada, you have a credit score that goes up to 900. I actually had a perfect credit score by following Dave Ramsey's strategies, and they're quite simple. There's just 6 basic strategies. If you Google them, the strategies pop right up. That's
Mm-hmm.
how I did it. There are ways to get, to end up in a lot of debt in our community. In
Mm-hmm.
Canada, you still got to be careful like anything else, right? So if you
100%.
follow his strategies, then and you apply that stuff for 6, 9, 12 months, and you get a full-time job, there's a very, very good chance as a newcomer to Canada that you're going to be able to start to qualify for some kind of mortgage.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think for most newcomers, this is particularly true because many of us are coming from countries where we don't do credit. It's either you have the
Yeah,
money to buy it or you do without it, right?
exactly.
Recently, I've been dealing with a lot of clients as well who are like, okay, so do we pay for full year's rent up front? And I'm like, what? No, you pay 1 month at a time, right? So they're like budgeting to come and pay for 12 months rent up front. I'm like, okay, so that is a down payment for a house. That is actually a down payment for a house you're talking about there, right? So many
Exactly.
us don't actually understand credit because we are not used to it. And that's not a good or bad thing. I think Canada is very credit heavy. A lot of people here live on their credit cards. So it's not necessarily a bad thing that you don't know about credit,
Yes.
but it's to like maximize on the systems here is a lesson that we need to learn really quickly. Really, really quickly. Right. And this is why when you go to Upro, if you
And
go
there's a
into the
huge, there's a huge,
you could actually book a call with Sam, and Sam has
yeah.
also volunteered his services in the career coaching tab. So if you're like interested in networking in Edmonton, you want to start a business, Sam is the guy that knows everyone. Low key, Sam is like a super networker, right? So if you're all just new to Edmonton, I want to talk to somebody about an idea you have. He has volunteered his services for free in the 2 tabs, housing tab
Yes.
and in the career coaching tab for yours.
Exactly.
Right? So someone was
Exactly. Yeah,
commenting.
because it's a big learning curve, as you know,
It is a big learning curve.
right?
Someone was commenting on Instagram about those increases in house prices. It sounds really good when you buy a house and then you're selling it for $100,000 more, right? But it almost sounds really depressing for a newcomer
Mm-hmm.
now into the market. It's like, okay, so I've missed my turn, right? Like a couple years ago, I could have gotten a house for 100,000 something. Now we're starting at 300,000, right? Have I missed my turn? And if how can I guarantee that if I buy into it now that we will continue to have this upward trend, right? What do you say
Well, and
to
that's
that?
yeah. There is a bit of a boom and bust cycle here in the Edmonton area. We are fed by oil and gas. That's most of our economy. So when there's uncertainty, like what's happening with the Trump effect right now,
Mm-hmm.
we could have a small market correction. But what we typically see is our market correction doesn't last more than 7 years. So as long as you're going to be in a home for more than 7 years, you're going to be okay. And the only time you lose money on real estate is when you sell it. So don't sell it. Keep
Hold
it as
on
a
to it.
rental property, leverage it, buy another one.
Right, right,
As
right.
much as
So you,
as much as I would love a bunch of new listings for my clients in 5 to 7 years, if people can qualify and afford to leverage and build an investment portfolio and have some rental properties, and then have their friends come as well from Nigeria or Eritrea or the West Indies and be like, yeah, don't worry about buying a place right away. I'll put
just
you up
rent
in
my
my
place.
rental property for 6 months. Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be amazing. That's what I'm trying to do.
Right?
Guys,
Yeah,
listen to me. That's what
that's
I'm trying to do.
exactly what you're doing.
And that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Sam has
Everybody, you
already
listen to
seen
Khalid.
the play. He saw the play. You're
Yeah,
gonna have the
Khalees is a smart
absolute
lady. You listen to
mental
her.
compound, guys. I love it. So somebody said the Trump effect. Yeah, we have a lot of political ups and downs, twists and turns. But more so in Alberta and Edmonton, apart from the political valleys and hills, we are also very much affected by the cost of oil and gas. So like when there's a boom in oil and gas, everybody's
Yes.
thriving here. when oil and gas plummets, everybody's like selling their
That's
houses
right.
and diving out and leaving, right? It's like this real the
Uh,
economy here
most yeah,
depends on oil.
it can happen. Yeah, yeah. You'll see more listings hit the market in an uncertain time, which could
Right.
happen with what's going on in the States. If he imposes a 25% tariff, we'll see a cooling of the market. But historically, the real estate has never really dropped significantly, other than a few pockets of the market, like apartment style condos, still haven't quite
Mhm.
recovered yet. But that's why you're starting to see a lot of these investors coming from the East Coast and buying up our entry level apartment condos and turning them into rental properties because they know they're not
Right.
going to drop anymore. So if the investors
Right.
are buying here, well, it makes sense to, if the smart people are buying, well, maybe we should too, right?
Right. Right. So I know you're on your way to show a listing here now. I just really wanted
Yes.
to find out. You're about Edmonton housing, right? So guys, if you're in Edmonton, if you're in Alberta, you just want to have a general conversations about real estate, Sam is there on the app. You can go book with him, right? What do you advise a newcomer to get a single family home, a duplex, a condo? What is the best thing for someone? Let's say they have a budget of 400,000. They're qualified for $400,000. What would you suggest that they buy? Best first home for a newcomer.
Newer duplex or a residential attached row home built after 2010. This is probably going to be the biggest growth of the market in the next 12 to 18 months.
So for a row home is like a town home for persons who are listening.
Yeah,
Like row.
without a condo fee. So
Yeah.
when I say residential attached row home, the difference between a row home and a townhome is most townhomes have condo fees. Row homes
Mm,
do not.
right. See, I didn't know that. I'm learning something new here. Because to me, condo fees are like uncertainty. You know?
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Great.
You're
Yeah.
always taking an extra risk. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hope y'all are taking
But
notes.
they're also less money. They're also less money, right? So you can get a 3-bedroom, 2-story townhouse with a condo fee and probably pay $100,000 less than you would for a residential attached row home without a condo fee. Pretty well the same square footage, similar build time. So you can
Right.
get more bang for your bang per square foot with something that has a little bit of a condo fee. So if you only qualify to 300 or 350, it might be in your best interest to pick up something in that range.
So persons in these comments are saying, tell Sam to say it again, but slowly. Right. So it's a row home or attached duplex built after 2010.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
They're taking notes.
Yes.
And guys, you don't need to take
That
notes.
is the hottest area of the market.
Go book a call with Sam. He will tell you as he will whisper it into your ears on the app. Go book a call with Sam. All right.
I have
Sam,
no I have no crystal ball, but I have over 22 years in the business, so I should have a pretty good feel.
all right. So Tamara is saying, I want a house. I don't want to be attached to anyone next to me. Right. So let me just say that these houses
Okay.
here are
Yep.
very close to one another. I live in a zero lot in the southwest, right? And the space
Yes.
between my
Correct.
neighbor's
Yep.
house and my house is arm's length. That's it, guys. So even those attached houses in the city, I find you don't really get much yard space per se. But I find like if the communities here are always developed in a way where there's always a park close by. So you're not really missing out on much
Yes.
because there will always be a park within walking distance. Another thing I would say is those row homes or townhouses, those duplexes, you don't hear your neighbors. So it's not like, oh my God, you're going to hear your neighbor, banging up on the wall.
And that
I feel like if
yeah.
it's really
And
comfortable, you
yeah.
don't feel like you're living next to someone.
Yeah. So what I did is I'd mentioned the residential attached row home after 2010, and there's a reason for that because after 2010, the build style changed, the fire code changed, and they required a different type of insulation, double
Hmm.
drywall, offset studs. So the build and even by about 2007, 2008, you saw some of the new build policies for attached homes starting to
Mm-hmm.
shift a little bit. So you're
Right.
pretty confident after 2010, 2012 that the sound between the units is significantly less. Like I actually live in a residential attached row home as a very successful realtor. I have an end unit. I share a wall with my neighbor, and I can tell you since I've lived there in 2020, I have never heard them.
Yeah, I think it's mind over matter. You enter one of those homes, you don't even know you're sharing a wall. because I
That's
don't know
it.
if it's a building code or what, but because I live in a zero lot, the ends of the house don't have windows. They're not allowed to have windows. So I'm
Yeah.
technically living in a row home. It's just that it's separate from the other person. I don't have windows to the side, on this side or that side. And you
That's
don't
it.
even think about it. You don't even miss it, to be honest, right? Okay, good credits and buying a home as a newcomer. So we know that for newcomers, there are some exceptions. There's some programs that we could qualify for a mortgage for because we don't have that 2 years work history, right? And I know that you do work with a mortgage
Yeah.
broker. So when they call you, they'll be able to connect with someone to explain all of this. But do we have to wait
That's
for
right.
2 years after we land to buy a home as a newcomer?
Heck no. We just had some clients that are here on a work visa, not technically Canadian yet, but he's just a few months away. The Barahona family, they're from Central America, and I just helped him buy a home here in Spruce Grove. Very similar scenario to what you're talking about, wanting a little more yard, a little more space, and
Yeah.
not sharing a wall. If you're looking for more bang for your buck, considering driving 30 minutes from one of the bedroom communities into the city is actually a really good variable. And you've got better schools, things are a little quieter. You'll find that the people are a lot more conservative, and your neighbors are a lot friendlier. If you go out to some neighboring communities like Spruce Grove, Stony Plain, St. Albert, Sherwood Park, Beaumont, even Leduc to a point, although Leduc's a little redneck, you'll find that these communities have larger homes, larger yards, and their prices are just slightly less than in the greater Edmonton area. Now, Sherwood Park, St. Albert are outliers. They tend to be a little bit nuts price-wise, but the taxes are lower as well in, for instance, Sherwood Park, which is in Strathcona County. So you have to look at your total monthly expenses. If the taxes there are $2,000 less a year, well, that's a couple extra $100 a month that you can make in a mortgage on a house. So being in a nicer neighborhood and having to commute 20 minutes into the city to go to work isn't that bad.
All right. So, guys, there you have it. I realize you stopped driving, which means you have reached your destination. Thank you
I've
so
reached
much.
my destination.
Thank you so much. So, in closing, having worked with many newcomers who dived into the market and bought their first home, what advice would you give for someone who is considering doing this? Not even just someone who's in Edmonton, but generally speaking, a newcomer in Canada who wants to own their own home. What advice do you have for them?
Hire me.
Okay.
So
Okay,
yes, your
Sarah.
first step is to your first step is to hire a realtor and hire a mortgage specialist to assist you with what you need to do to get to the point of pre-qualifying to
Mhm.
the home style and price that eventually you're going to want to purchase it. It's really nice here in Canada. The Canadian Real Estate Association has set it up to protect the consumer. The reason
Mm.
the Canadian real estate market is so strong and we don't have all the problems that the States has is because the Canadian Real Estate Association is very smart. They've set things up, and Alberta, in my opinion, is the best province for buyers and sellers because our Alberta Association is also very on top of making sure that things are done properly. Now, there's still outliers like every industry. There's bad painters, there's bad drywallers, there's bad drivers. There are bad realtors out there. Absolutely. So you've got to do your due diligence, do your research, Google them, even reach out to their past clients. Like I'll tell my clients or people that talk to me, I'm like, if you find one of my friends that's giving me a testimonial on my rank system, and they're my Facebook friend, message them. Don't even tell me you are. Reach out to them and ask them, is Sam really that good a guy? You know what?
Mhm.
If you do that, you're going to find out right away if this is somebody you can trust or not. And
Mhm.
that's the nice thing about your app, Khalees. And I really appreciated learning about it a year ago because I was like, no, this is what I've been looking for. I'm running into so many, especially the Ukrainian community. They're coming here, and it's hard for them to trust because they're coming from a war-torn area where
Mhm.
everyone's corrupt. And when you're looking at things from that lens, and I know that Nigeria is very similar. One of my absolute best favorite clients, who you met,
Mhm.
Aderemi, is one of my biggest ambassadors. He refers me business all the time. He says I'm the best realtor in the world, and that's just, it means so much to me.
Mhm.
I love the culture. I love the different personalities. But at the end of the day, he's adopted that service first, community focused human, and that's who we really want to come here and to be Edmontonians together. I love my city. I grew up here. I was born and raised in this area. And I think what's happening here in the Edmonton area is amazing. We have the best healthcare system in Alberta. We have the best hospital in the Stollery for kids. I had another West Indian family whose daughter is special needs, and she had a 7-year wait for a pediatrician on the East Coast. They
Mm,
ended up having to move here to get closer to our stollery. I sponsored the stollery because I have 2 stollery kids. 2 of my boys went through health issues. And I can tell you, if you have anybody that's special needs, that needs extra hospital stuff, everything is just better here. Taxes are lower, services are better. I've had people move even from other areas of Canada, and they're like, they move here, and a year later, they're like, yeah, I was able to find a pediatrician in 2 months. Thank you, Sam. And
mhm.
that's important to me.
I think Sam is selling Edmonton and Alberta. Like, I feel you should be working for the government of Alberta. I think Sam should be the Minister of Tourism. I feel like
we
if
want we want the immigrant. We want the immigrants here. I want the immigrants. I need you guys here. I love your food. First, I'm a food guy. I love food. I would be 400 pounds. So yeah, when I help you buy a house and you're having your housewarming party and you're going to cook a bunch of Eritrean food or some Nigerian or East Indian or South African, if you're going to
invite
cook
Sam,
some West Indian, if
just
I get
invite.
me some good oxtail and jerk chicken, oh boy, some dirty rice, I'm all over that, baby.
Oh,
I
good.
love
Okay,
food.
Sam. Thank you. We appreciate you. And for those of y'all who really, really, really want to know more about the housing market, and to speak to Sam, head to the housing tab in Uproom, book a free call with him and pick his brain. Right? And
Yeah,
doubles.
and
Yep.
I have really great connections in other cities as well. So if you're not moving to Edmonton, but you want to move to Calgary or Victoria or Ontario, anywhere in Ontario, on the East Coast and the Maritimes, I have a really great database of realtors that I trust that I've sent business to. Feel free to reach
Mhm.
out to me even if you're not moving to the Edmonton area market, and I will connect you with someone that I know and trust that's going to look after you like I would expect to myself.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Everyone on Instagram is saying, thank you. We appreciate you. Okay, Sam, we're going to let you go. And we will
Okay,
probably
thanks for
come back
having me. All right.
around for an update on the market here in Alberta.
I'm always here, and thanks a lot for the time there, Khalees. I'm looking forward to 2025.
You're welcome. Bye. And there we have it. Short and sweet. Today was short and sweet because Sam is on his way to show a home. A couple months ago, or probably over the past couple months, I've been doing some stories where I go with Sam and look at apartments, look at houses. Sorry, we went to acreage a time. I don't know if those of you who follow me my stories over on Instagram, you all remember that beautiful acreage. I think I'm gonna go back and try to find some of these old videos from some of the homes that I visited with Sam and share them to my stories. I'll try to at least. Remember, if you're interested in becoming a homeowner, don't just sit down and listen to what everybody is saying. Go find out for yourself. Right? Don't ever take something someone else is saying at face value. Do not come to Canada and listen to people who have been here 10, 15, 20 years. They did not do it. Right? You all heard what Sam said. A couple years ago, it was 100,000 something to buy a home. Now it's 300 something thousand. They were here since 20 years ago. Why they don't have a home? Don't listen to them. Go book a call with someone and find out for yourself. Right? A lot of these stories I hear is people following advice from persons who did it wrong. Yeah? Go connect with a professional and get it done right. And always remember the journey is a prize. You'll have a great day and research and research and research and ask questions. Yes, someone is giving that advice there. Right? You'll have a great day. Remember the journey is a prize. Bye, guys.